Hello, everyone. I jumped on a couple minutes early. Give it a second here. So, I'm doing another live. I'm trying to keep up with this tradition. Not sure if we've solidified like a specific day yet that I'm going to be doing these regularly, but I'd like to do them regularly. So, as you jump on, please make sure you comment and say hi so that I know you're here. It's my first time sitting down like at all today. So I have water and I have hot chocolate as a treat. This is also probably ending up being dinner. I have my dog here. Hopefully she'll be quiet. I tried to grab treats to have available in case she starts talking. Oh, good. It's rainy. It's not too chilly here today, but it's not entirely warm either. So I'm looking forward to my hot chocolate. Are you going to be good? Do you want to say hi? Oh. Here's Mika. Looks like she's going to visit us for a little while tonight. Say hello. Hi. All right, so I am going to kind of get into a topic and start chatting a bit here. I try to think of a topic to start talking about during our lives. Hi, Grammy Karen, miss you. Hope you guys are doing well. Getting excited for the holidays, I'm sure. So one thing that kind of came to my mind this week. Hi, Dad. I see you. Shout out to Dad. Hi, Meeks. She says hi too. Hello. Ooh. Say hi, Papa. One thing that kind of came to my mind this week, I was flipping through Facebook and I noticed a friend had posted something about wanting like different lotions and stuff for Christmas and had done like a bit of a shout out to Bath and Body Works. And one thing that like it was funny because initially like I used to be a big Bath and Body Works fan as well, but when I first saw that, like the first thing that came to mind was like, I wonder if she knows how many toxins are in those products that they offer. And I kind of had to take a step back from that for a second because I realized like just how far I've actually come on this health journey. It's been a little give or take, but recently I've been doing a really great job of attempting to rule out not so healthy things out of my life, whether it be food or bad habits. And I've been fairly successful, not to toot my own horn too much. I've been doing pretty good recently. And I just like it was weird for me to see that comment and like think, oh, does she know how many toxins are in that? Because that was just such a new concept for me. And it got me thinking, a lot of people, I feel like, kind of take a step back when you mention, toxins and everyday things that you use. Some people are on board with it. Other people kind of look and be like, hey, like it can't be that bad because it's something that, they sell in the stores and we use it all the time and it can't be that terrible for you. But as I've like gone on this journey and researched more into it, I've realized that there's a lot of stuff out there that may be sold to you on a regular basis that is jam-packed full of not so healthy things. So on this journey, I've started learning how to make a lot of my own things for myself. We started, obviously from a food standpoint, growing our own food is a big one. Learning how to can and process that food so you have it throughout the year is been a huge concept. Grammy Karen, I found that most people think it couldn't be sold if it was bad, but we know different, and that is the truth. I think, and I felt the same way for a very long time. I was like, "There's no way." I mean, there's got to be checks and balances somewhere, right? That if that someone's checking in on all of this stuff and making sure that there's nothing harmful for us. Sorry, I'm reaching to grab. Now she's gonna know these are up here. She's gonna keep talking. I gotta give her a treat, keep her quiet. There you go. Go lay down. And the reality, hi mom, is that I don't really know that there really is that many checks and balances, to be honest. I don't know the entire system. It's something I'm still researching, but um, I started being more aware, I guess, over the last few years. And, growing our own food was a big part of that. And so now I'm really cautious about like the meals that we eat, trying not to eat out as much. And then the stuff that we do make, I do try to make from scratch as much as possible. I'm not starting with like easy heat up meals kind of situation. And then that journey kind of transferred into a few years ago. I started going down the route of essential oils, and I was convinced that essential oils are raw and pure, and that they are better for you. I sold essential oils for a while, and I realized then too that not all essential oils are created equal. And so that was kind of something that tied into that comment that my friend had made on Facebook about wanting Bath and Body Works stuff. A part of me wanted to reach out. I didn't, and just say, have you considered other alternatives? I do try to use a lot of essential oils in the home, but I've also realized too that with essential oils, my dog gets really sensitive to them. And there'll be times like if I'll put something in a diffuser and I will dilute the daylights out of it. But she'll still get sick feeling. And I'm figuring like if it does that to my dog, I'm like, what does it really do to me? Right. And so I started questioning this whole concept of why is it that so many people don't get on board with the concept that these things could potentially not be good for you? And I started thinking, my root cause, which comes down to homesteading as well, is that I just feel in my heart that what we need is provided. It's available and it is here for us, right? It's just up to us to know how to properly use it and how to get our hands on it. And that concept has really much come from the belief that the maker has created, our creator has provided everything that we need here on this planet. And then I had the realization that, oh my gosh, there are people that don't believe in that at all. And perhaps that is why they just don't understand that some things can be good for you that just come raw from the earth, right? If you don't believe in that concept. So I started paying attention to some of the things that I've never made before and started thinking of things that I could make now, right? One of the big topics that comes up often is like toothpaste. So I recently came across a how to make toothpaste from scratch video. So I think I'm going to be trying that. But I'm curious, anyone that's listening or that watches the replay, if you can add in the comments some of the stuff that you make from scratch that you no longer purchase commercially. I think that that's just a really interesting concept, and you realize that a lot of this stuff you can make. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to do at all. It just takes, time and resources. Tyler, for I think it was my birthday a couple years ago, actually purchased this setup to like make your own essential oils, which was really fun. We have a video on it. It was really fun in theory. But he's by far more of like the scientist than I am. He will get into like the nitty-gritty details of stuff where like sometimes when I look at a big glass setup with like a Bunsen burner on the kitchen table, I get a little overwhelmed. But we did in fact make our own essential oils to the best of our ability with that. And what was cool is that we could go out into like the backyard, the herb bed or whatever, and pick whatever we wanted and make our own oils out of it. Which is just interesting because I don't think that people really give enough thought into making their own stuff. We started making our own soaps. That was fun. I only make tinctures, but very picky where I buy medicinal herbs. Yeah, absolutely, as you should be, and making sure that they are coming from a reputable source. Um, you gotta think about that stuff, you gotta think about the different chemicals, excuse me, the different chemicals and the different, um, things that those plants have been exposed to. And I think that's also something that's really interesting to think through. Once you start going down that rabbit hole, you do kind of get caught up in things. Like I remember when we first put like our big garden in on the side of the house, I really had this dream, this like vision of this like gorgeous like raised garden beds and this like pretty little path that goes through it. And so I really wanted to get mulch and put mulch on the pathway. And we did. And I'll be honest, we still continue to. But the thought went through my head like, oh no, did I just ruin my raised beds because I put down all of this black dyed mulch in the walkways? So there's so many things that you have to think of like outside of the box for stuff like that. We still do continue to put mulch over there, but I haven't put quite as much down recently. There's also this resource that you can reach out to like your local dump, I believe, that has wood chips available, and they'll offer free wood chips to you to come pick them up. Tyler and I did that one year. We got buckets, loaded them up in the Jeep, drove down there, filled up as many buckets as we could possibly fit the in the Jeep, and then we brought them all the way back. And I forget what we were planning on using them for. It was something garden related. And after we did all that work, I turned to Tyler and I was like, I don't think I want to use that. um, yeah, I was like, I don't know what's in there. How do you know? Because you don't. I'm like, no, I don't think I want to use that. I think we ended up dumping them in the woods. But I think it's important to really think through like the concept of where things come from. And with that, once you go down that route and decide that you want to start making your own, you start this journey of trying to figure out how to make these things. Soap is a great example. Soap I was so intimidated about, but I wanted to do it so bad. And Tyler, of course, my biggest cheerleader, got me a soap kit and we started making soaps at home. And I was so nervous the first few times that we did it because I was like afraid we were going to end up with like third-degree burns and everything was going to go terribly wrong. And after we did it a few times, I was like, things aren't going to go terribly wrong as long as you just pay attention to what you're doing. And now we just have an abundance of soap. We have a ton of soap that sits around here. We made them as gifts for our wedding as well. And it's fun. It's something fun to do. And just understanding that process, you're learning a skill, right? Same thing with canning my food. I was really nervous about canning until I did it a bunch of times. And now it's like, I hardly even have a second thought about it. But learning those skills is what is most important. And I would like to think that people would start researching things like homesteading or DIY because they have an interest and a passion in actually being creative. But I do also recognize that some people do it out of necessity, which is just as good. But understanding that you're not only, investing that time into creating something, but you're investing that time into learning a skill that no one can ever take away from you. I get a lot of people that I talk to, and they say, I don't know how you have time for all that stuff. Like, where do you find time for all of that? And the reality of it is I make time for it. I don't have time for it. I make time intentionally. A lot of my downtime and free time is spent doing that stuff. I hardly ever sit down. And when I do sit down, I like to watch movies or play video games to like disconnect entirely. You cannot have another treat. You cannot. And so I do like to disconnect every once in a while, but most of the time I'm not. I'm constantly going. And if it's something that you're interested in, you're passionate about, you just make time for it. I think it's a shame that more people don't make time for little things, um, whether it is, self-sufficient skills or just even art in general. I think it's sad that most people don't invest time in that stuff. I don't know what we're gonna do about her. You need to be quiet. So finding time brings me to that kind of topic. Finding time to do things that are important to you. Small piece. I had a conversation today with a friend about making time for the things that are important. I don't think that I am by any means like the best person at this. I can quite frankly tell you I'm not. My priorities and my scheduling tends to be a little chaotic, but it's something that I think we can all strive to get better at, right? And so what I've started doing, I mean, just an example, like these lives, for example, having time. I'm literally right now, if I turned the screen around, I have the makings of what could potentially end up being dinner sitting on the counter. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. And then I've got all of our Christmas presents laid out with wrapping paper and such all over the floor over there. And I'm quite literally in the middle of like 7 different things. Uh, but I also want to find time tonight to grate cheese because that's become a priority for me. We decided that we wanted to start buying brick cheese and not buying shredded cheese again because I did a little bit of homework. Not going to say that I like know everything about this topic, but I'm just saying I've done some homework. And there's actually a chemical that they need to put on shredded cheese to ensure that it doesn't stick together. Not exactly natural. I gave her another treat, Mom. She's gonna be chunky by the end of the night. Oh, that's Dad. Yeah, I gave her another treat. She's gonna be chunky. She'll be back for more, I'm sure. So I was talking to Tyler. We were at the grocery store the other day, and I was like, "Hey, so I know we haven't talked about this yet, but what do you think about buying brick cheese?" He's like, "Sure, like, all right, whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, with like the intention of grading it." And he was like, "Okay, it sounds like extra work." And I kind of walked him through my research, and uh, he was on board. So we're gonna start doing that. It's just little changes that I'm trying to make, but they do take extra time to do. So I understand the argument of I would rather pay for convenience, but I think that it far benefits you. I mean, an extra couple seconds to grate cheese, versus and knowing what's in my cheese, as opposed to buying something for convenience and having absolutely no idea what's in that bag. Okay, go. That's all. So, from a time standpoint, like I said, the concept of making time for lives and making time for things that I enjoy doing is important. I think it's something that everyone can improve on. I wish that I had the answer to how to do that and make it work every single time, though. That I don't have. So we are in December. Speaking of time, we are coming up on planning the next garden. Oh, hello from Huga Homestead. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Hi, thanks for joining us. So we're coming up on time to start planning next year's garden. And essentially, planning starts in January, and then everything needs to like start getting started in about March. I've been organizing seeds. That's a great thing to do. Um, so that you have a quick reference. You don't have to dig through things when you're looking for to plan your garden. And so I've been thinking, with this whole concept of time management and trying to eat healthier, I've been trying to figure out what our next year's garden is going to look like. And I think this year I'm going to lean heavily into obviously production, which we did focus on a bit last year. Um, and I'm going to focus on kind of like I think I'm going to focus on basics. So instead of doing all of the varieties of tomatoes that I have, I think I'm going to just stick to maybe doing reds. Um, and then we've got some really cool new seeds that we've ordered over the last couple months, so I'm sure they'll get incorporated. But I think that that's the direction I'm going to go in. I've also been considering like the layout of our gardens and such, and kind of what's going to go in there. I think I'm going to try and go for things that are not quite as picky, that don't need quite as much attention as often, um, to kind of make it easier for us. Maybe things that, don't wilt as quickly and stuff like that. And not necessarily from a genetically modified standpoint, but just from our hybrids that we know aren't quite as touchy. Last year was first garden at this house. Oh, congratulations. And figuring out what grows well here. It's hard. It can be really difficult. We've experimented so much that I don't even really have a ton of go-to plants. Um, our basics that do really well usually are peppers and peas and beans. Where are you guys at? What area? Do you know, or what zone maybe? I don't know if you want to say exactly what area you are, but what zone are you in? Um, we we did really great on green beans last year. I mean, we canned the daylights out of them. Southeast Indiana. All right. We canned the daylights out of our green beans. And so you're 6A. So you're probably warmer than us, I believe. If I'm thinking about that right. We've also experimented with some odds and ends. So we have kiwis that we've had planted on the property for a few years now. We have not gotten to pick from them yet, though. So this hypothetically should be the year that they are going to produce, and I'm really excited about that. We've had bananas, which is a bit of a sore topic because I don't even know if you guys know this, but we have banana plants that Tyler put out in his tropical forest in the front yard. And a couple of the varieties are designed to like overwinter. Like they do fine in our zone, but they don't produce because it just doesn't stay warm enough for production. And then there was a couple varieties that Tyler had gotten that would produce, but the catch was we needed to bring them inside over the winter because they could not be exposed to cold temperatures. It would kill them back. So I came home from, I think, a business trip one day, and bless his heart, Tyler had dug up the banana plants and like brought them in the kitchen. These banana plants, there were trees, were like 12, 15 feet tall. And they were here. I was like, I don't know about that one. So the banana plants are no longer with us. Oh, Lord. They're no longer with us. But we do still have the banana plants that are out front that probably won't produce. What is a back to Eden garden? So we did have the concept of a back to Eden garden going, but we've altered it since then. My understanding, which anyone is welcome to correct me, is that it's just more of like a natural process. You don't really dig. It's more of like a natural compost. Like it builds on its own. And we did start that. It's a no dig, and it got to the point though where we needed to address that a little bit more deeply because our soil here is very much clay and rock, and it takes forever for anything to really break down. So that section of the garden is now our in-ground garden section. And what we ended up doing is every single year at the end of the summer season, we would take any of our pots that didn't have sickly plants in them. So like no blight, no mold. And we would just dump the leftover soil from those pots into that in-ground section to kind of help build. And then at the beginning of every spring, we'd kind of go in and till it a little bit. Oh, hi, Stivers. Hi. Yes, I'm here. We would till it a little bit. Yes, there's definitely different variations for sure. Um, so it has gotten significantly better, that area, over the years because we've added to it and we've tried to plant different kinds of plants in there to break up the soil a little bit and add different nutrients into the soil. So it's gotten better, but it's still not great. It still needs a lot of work. Tyler planted garlic, if Dad's still around. Tyler planted garlic in that section this year, the end of like the beginning of fall or whatnot. So we've tried very hard to grow garlic many, many times for many years and have failed terribly. And it's become kind of this like ongoing joke between Tyler and my dad about how terrible our garlic has done. We've had some pretty bad luck when it came to garlic though too. Like last year, we tried really hard to make sure that we ordered it on time and that we got it on time. We ended up picking it up from, we were going to order it, but we ended up picking it up from, I think, Southern States, I believe. And when we went to plant it, it was like dust. It just fell apart in our hands. And I felt so bad because Tyler was super excited about that. So last year, we just ended up, when we had that terrible experience, just going in the kitchen, grabbing garlic, breaking it up and putting it in the ground. We did actually get a little bit of a harvest out of it, but not anything to write home about. Has anyone had any successful, I know the Stivers had, I've seen their successful garlic. I want to share some tips and tricks with us. I started a journal, hopefully a few years. I'll be glad I kept track of stuff. Yeah, journaling is awesome. Keeping track of it is amazing. A few years ago, I think it was about the same year we started YouTube. I took a lot of pictures that year, which was also like my colorful tomato year, I like to refer to it as. I had all these different varieties of just like crazy colorful tomatoes, like the zebra, pink tie-dye, different kinds of cherry tomatoes, the blue gold berry cherries. We had beautiful tomatoes that year. And every once in a while, like they'll come up on my memories on Facebook, and it just makes me so happy that I took all of those pictures. I didn't take very many pictures this year because we had the wedding and everything and things got insane, but that was a really fun year for me. It's always great to look back and see, because when you're in the middle of it, when you're in the middle of the gardening season, things are so hectic and chaotic and things grow so fast. It's hard to really wrap your head around it. But if you like take pictures when you first plant stuff, and then even looking at it a week or two later, you can see just how like big your stuff has gotten. Hi, Loverbug. Hi from California. We finally planted garlic for the first time this year. I wish you all the best of luck on that. I really do. I really send you good garlic vibes. Hopefully it goes better than our first year did. This year, yeah, Tyler ordered garlic and got it. I wish I don't remember where it was from, but we did do a video on it. So I have high expectations, and he did a ton of research on it all as well. I mean, we've got it tucked in so snug. It looks comfortable. It looks very comfortable and warm out there. Very hectic, especially when you work full time. Yeah, it's tough. Um, I have garlic planted, no idea what will happen. You just do the best you can and hope for the best. I have all the faith that it'll go well for you. But yeah, it is hard, especially when you work full time and if you have any other hobbies outside of that, it gets daunting. Canning alone. Excited about the mushrooms, yeah. Canning alone, which is something that kind of becomes almost mandatory once you have a big enough garden, you're constantly trying to figure out ways to just keep it from going bad. That alone is a full-time job. Excited about the mushrooms, mom said. Me too. So I don't remember if I think we did a video on that. We have a stack of like chopped wood. There's a word for it, but in the back that Tyler got into his whole mushroom thing and we inoculated all these logs. And so I'm really excited about that. And mom and dad helped, yes. I have a neighbor down the road that I actually met like through gardening stuff. And he also does mushrooms. And he's been posting a ton of pictures of his mushrooms. So I have faith that ours are coming up. Hopefully not too far. Now I know we did do a log. It was a much larger log, and it took that log about 2 years. So like a couple seasons until we were picking. But these ones are much smaller logs, and so the smaller logs take longer for the mushrooms, or take less time for the mushrooms to do their thing. And so hopefully we will see mushrooms sooner than 2 years. That was fun though. I also really like having mushrooms around because you can substitute them for a lot. Specifically, like they're a great meat substitute. Um, we like doing like mushroom burgers. So basically, like we'll cook our mushrooms in different seasonings, like burger seasonings, and then you just put them on a bun and put cheese on them and eat them like a cheeseburger. Really good. Or lion's mane mushrooms are a great alternative to crab meat. So you can do lion's mane crab cakes. And being from Maryland, I gotta make sure everyone knows about those crab cakes. So if you don't have access to crab, just get your hands on some lion's mane. We hopefully will have quite a bit of those. Hopefully. But we have to see. I do go out and check on them every once in a while. I don't see much action quite yet, but I wouldn't expect to. I mean, that was not that long ago. So yeah, and that's another question I get a lot is how do you do all that with like a full-time job? And that's what's great about Tyler and I is that we enjoy doing these things together in our free time, right? So both of us work full-time jobs. But when, the weekend comes around, we enjoy doing this stuff together a little bit more when it's warmer outside. It's a little chilly. It's not quite as much fun to be outside, but you just have to make it work and again, prioritize stuff. Doing things like keeping a journal and making an organized schedule definitely help. All right, so I've been chatting for a bit. What questions do you guys have? I'm going to go ahead and share this on the YouTube page. Oh, not you, Meek. I wasn't talking to you. Share some questions with me. Let's hear from y'all. When I work, I do a lot of like virtual work stuff too. And she will just talk her way through every meeting. I always have to have some sort of chewy or snack to give to her, but she done ran out of snacks. She ate too many of them. What happened to the banana plants? Good question. So the banana plants, like I said, were in the kitchen and they were taking up the entire kitchen. Like it wasn't gonna fly. And so Tyler ended up just chopping them and we put them on the compost bin. We had to put them on the compost bin, which was sad, but hopefully the snacks are right here, Dad. Hopefully, I mean, it wasn't a total waste. It went into our compost, so it'll help with soils and stuff next year. But it was a sad day. She sounds like my Shih Tzu. Yeah, yeah, she's full of things to say. Full of things to say. She doesn't like, and like if I get off here and we go sit down, like she's gonna be quiet. She just sits on the couch and she's quiet. She doesn't need the attentions. It's just the fact that I'm on here and doing something else that doesn't involve her. But then she won't jump up here either. Do you plan to expand your garden next year? Oh, Grammy Karen, that's a great question. um, Probably not too much expanding of like the space that we have. We have some space out in our backwoods, which I have been avidly trying to find a solution for, that we've actually fenced off. Now, that area is cleared out to where, like, when you look up, there's no trees, but there's trees all the way around it. And it's been really hard to get, obviously, anything to grow. Now, one of those sections, we grew pumpkins in a couple years ago. Everything looked beautiful up until when the pumpkins started, or when the plants started flowering, and then everybody died off. It may have been user error. We may not have watered them enough, but I also am just really leaning towards, I don't think they were getting enough sunlight. Then we had a smaller section back there as well, which last year we had purchased some elderberry canes from a neighbor down the road, and we chopped them up and rooted them. And so we ended up with this abundance of elderberry plants. I mean, we had too many. We had to sell some. Some of them, I think, just ended up being put in like random places in the yard. But I took a bunch of them and I put them in the smaller area in the back of the woods, and was like, hey, if they make it, great. If they don't, not mad, because we've got other ones up here that we focus on a little bit more and tend to. And those elderberry plants back there did perfectly fine, like with very little management. They did really well. So I might just turn those into like berries. So I might do some blackberries, raspberries, and stuff back there if they'll do good. So that would be, I guess, the extent of our like expansion, is just utilizing what space we have that we just haven't used yet. I have a Shih Tzu, Maltese, and a German Shepherd. So I have a Shih Tzu. She's a Yorkie Shih Tzu mix. Her name's Mika. And then we did have a German Shepherd. We lost her last month, but she got really sick. But we had a German Shepherd too. And it's so fun watching them walk around together, because it's like a big and then a little, and they're adorable. Going to have a bumper crop of garlic next summer. We're hoping for it. I'm telling you, the amount of effort that Tyler put into this garlic this year, it would, like, something would have to go tragically wrong for it not to work. You should see them. They're so snuggled in like little babies and blankies. They're all buried in there. He put like straw and different kinds of leaves and stuff on top. I have to imagine they're going to do great. And he put all kinds of like good stuff in the dirt. He did good. I still want a greenhouse, maybe in the spring. It's on the wish list. Have you seen our greenhouse video? If you haven't seen it, you got to go look at that. I think it's literally tagged like the best day of my life or something like that was the name of the video. So much fun. I highly recommend a greenhouse. It's a game changer across the board. Our neighbors across the street actually gifted us their greenhouse and brought it over here on the back of a lawnmower. I would say tractor, but it wasn't a tractor. It was a lawnmower. And it was so much fun. And we love our greenhouse. Like, I use it all the time. I do actually have some of my plants that I moved in there. I think I've got a tomato plant in there right now. And then a lot of my mints I put in there over the winter. I remember it was a very pretty park-like area. Yeah, in the back. It's really cute, but it's just not being used. And I need help. I need suggestions for what to put back there. How much sunlight do elderberries need? I have blueberries, raspberries, but it would work to add elderberry. So I think that if you went and purchased elderberries, the tag would tell you like full sun. However, We have elderberries in areas around. Now, the ones that we are picking from that are actually producing elderberries right now are in pretty much full sunlight. But we have other plants that were babies last year that we started. Obviously, they haven't produced elderberries yet, like actual berries yet, because they're still too young. But the plants themselves shot up and are doing super healthy. And those are in not so sunny places. So like I said, the plants I put back there, they're too young to have elderberries, like actual berries yet, but the plants are super healthy. And they maybe, I would say maybe get like a couple hours a day of full sunlight. The rest of it is going to be shaded by the trees. Our berries though, like our blackberries and our raspberries grow rampant around the woods in our backyard. So they do not hardly ever get full sunlight, but they do produce. Now, the ones that are around the edges of the woods that get some sunlight, maybe not full sunlight, but some sunlight, produce a ton of berries. Some of the ones that are further into the woods that you can't, that, don't really get any sunlight at all, they don't have nearly as many berries. So I would say try it wherever you can. And just know that if there's not as much sunlight, just don't expect as much fruit. I think I need to binge on your videos. I think you should. There's just some good ones. I'm telling you, that greenhouse one is one of my favorites. It was really fun and extremely unexpected. I mean, they had mentioned that they wanted to give us their greenhouse, and then they called and said, "Hey, can you send Tyler over to help?" And I'm like picturing they're gonna, break the greenhouse down and I don't know, throw it in the back of a truck or something and like bring it over and we'll have to rebuild it. Oh no. No, they did not. They did not break nothing down. They put that greenhouse on the back of a trailer, on the back of a lawnmower, and drove it over here. It is so fun. It's a great video to watch. The greenhouse really is it is a game changer. I think that we could probably do a lot more with it than what we even currently do. That was hilarious. It really was. It was such a great Bandana Grandma, how are you? Hi, thank you for joining. It was such a great day. It was a lot of fun. But I do wish that we would use it more. I would have an interest in kind of seeing what we could do with it over the winter. I don't think we've spent much time doing that. I forgot which zone you were in, but do you have any luck with a winter garden? We are fortunately lucky enough to grow all year long in our area, zone 9B, and ooh, she just bit me, sorry. And it's been amazing. Oh, she bit me again. I'm holding the treat and letting her nibble from it so I can try and keep her quiet longer. We are in zone 7A, and we're in Maryland area. Maryland. And 7A, we don't grow a ton over the winter. Now, over the last few years, we have done more of like a fall garden. We've been very intentional about our fall garden, and we've been very successful with the fall garden. Like I was saying though, like over winter, I think it would be fun to play around with the greenhouse. For our wedding, one of the gifts that we got was like a little digital screen that came with multiple thermometers. And we have one like in the chicken coop, one in the greenhouse. And so we can kind of keep a closer eye on what the actual temperature is in the greenhouse this year. So I'm really excited to kind of see what that does. And so we can have a better idea of what's out there. But I started moving my mint in for the winter because I was losing it every winter. So I put it in pots because I don't want it to take over. And it does fine in there. So I did mention to Tyler, I was like, we could probably put those banana plants in there and see how they do, but he said they wouldn't make it. I mean, I'm sure it gets really cold out there, but I just don't have the exact temperatures yet. I still have lettuce growing. It's December and I still have lettuce growing on the deck, which is pretty cool. But that's about as far as we've gone. We've thought about we installed 2 smaller garden beds this past year. And I was thinking about kind of covering them like a mini hoop house kind of situation and trying to grow in them, but we just didn't get around to it this year. It would be great to live somewhere that you could, like, grow year round, though. I had a friend that lived in California, and it would be dead winter. We'd all be freezing, and she'd be out in the back playing with her chickens and sending us pictures of her orange tree. I was so jealous. That's another thing that we don't have that I would really love is, like, fruit trees. We got our berries down. A lot of our berries grow naturally here, which is great. So our blackberries and then, like, our raspberries grow all on their own. There's also another one called, there's another berry. I don't forget what it's called, but it almost looks like a raspberry. We have a lot of those here too. And then obviously our elderberries are doing really good. And then last year we planted some cherry bushes, which are still babies. We haven't picked from them yet. Um, but I thought that would be cool to, like, incorporate some cherries into things. I think I'm zone 7B in Maryland, close to Chesapeake. Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think of what her name. Homestead Librarian, I think was what it was. Do you know who that is, Bandana Grandma? She's out by you. Um, so you got crab cakes down then, right, Bandana Grandma? You good at making crab cakes? We are dead in the center of California. No snow, hardly freezes. Hot summers. It has its perks. I can imagine it does have its perks, but at the same time, like, it also would be weird to me to, like, for it to be Christmas time and it be hot outside. I don't know what I would do with that. I've never lived somewhere that it was, like, hot on Christmas. We've gotten kind of warmer Christmases, but I prefer the cooler weather up until January. And then after January, like, if it wanted to get hot again, I'd be totally fine with it. Homestead Librarian, I think was her name. I know she changed it recently. I'll have to look her up and send it to you because she lives out by you. I do not make crab cakes. Hubby's not a fan. I love to order them when I can. Fisherman's Inn crab cakes and scallops. Yeah, I love crab cakes. I've been telling Tyler, like, that's one of my skills that I want to tack on sooner rather than later. It's been on my list for the last couple years is fishing, just in general. I really want to go fishing. I want to learn how to catch a fish, clean a fish, and cook a fish, like, all in the same sitting. And crabbing has been another thing that I'd really love to do. I know my mom and dad have, like, the crab cages. Um, but I've also heard that you can just very easily kind of do it with a string and a chicken neck. But I really want to learn how to fish. I mean, I think I know how to fish. I've fished before. I just haven't cleaned one and cooked it all at the same time. I've never cleaned a fish, period. So I'd like to learn how to do that. That's on my next homesteading checklist. Me too. I love fishing all my life. It's fun. And it's even better if you get to bring home something. Tyler went fishing with his work out on the bay and came back with, like, a heck of a catch, man. He had some really good, good catch that we got to eat. I think we did a video on that too. That was fun. I lived in upstate New York and on the coast of Massachusetts. I miss steams, yep, with corn, sausage, chicken, potatoes, and lobsters from us. I've, like, seen that concept where you just go out in your backyard and you just throw a bunch of stuff into a big pot. Like, that's what I'm picturing. Is that right? That looks like so much fun. Mom says that's the guy's job to clean them. Oh no, 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 no. I want to learn. I'm going to do it. I want to do it. I want to know how. I think it's important to know how to do this stuff. That's been my approach. Like, I'm gonna learn how to do it. I'll do it. I have to do it at least once, right? I have to do it at least once. And then if, maybe twice so that I can get the whole routine down. After I know how to do it, then, like, if the guys want to take it over, they're welcome to. But I need to, like, be able to say that I know how to do it and I've done it and been successful. I just have to be able to say that. There's also, like, apparently some really good fishing spots around here. And that's the only problem is, like, no one's gonna tell you where their fishing spot is, you know? Like, "Hey, I promise not to go all the time. Like, I just wanna go and learn. Here's the good spots." The other thing I was, trying to talk Tyler into is hunting. I was like, "We got space in the freezer, let's fill it." He says, "I'll go if you go." Like, "Okay. Yep. I'll go, I'll try." Love a good fish spot. Yeah, a good fishing spot. I'm telling you, like, people treat it like gold. They do not share. Tyler found a good fishing spot. Yeah, he I don't know. And, like, so they went out, they, like, rented a boat or whatever with, like, the guy and went out and, chartered. They did a charter. And he swears that it's all about the person that's running the boat. If you've got a good person, like, they can pretty much take you anywhere and get a catch. I don't know if I believe that. I also think that there's a chance that I might just scare fish away. I don't know. My uncle got a new short metal trash can installed, spigot for draining. Yeah. Wire shelves for all the food, wire baskets for the clams on top. That is awesome. Add water and a fire under it to steam. That sounds like so much fun. That just sounds like a great time. Like, what else could you ask for? But a metal trash can and just, like, everything in there, right? So, what, like shrimp, you said, lobster, so corn, like, do you put potatoes in there too? Everything, just put it right in. That sounds delicious. It sounds like fun too. We have a little portable burner with, like, a couple of really big pots that we use for when we butcher the chickens. Well, one of the pots hasn't been used yet. The other one gets used when we butcher the chickens. But I wonder, like, we should do something like that this summer when the weather gets nice. I think that'd be fun to add that to the list. In New York, it was a clam steam with white potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn on the cob, chicken. Oh my goodness, clams with chowder on the side. You're making me hungry, bandana grandma. Oh, and sausage too. Oh my gosh, yes. Sounds delicious. Yep, I would totally be excited about that. That would be fun. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something like that. That sounds good. And yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with that. Do y'all use Old Bay in New York? Do you guys know what Old Bay is? Just sprinkle some of that in there. We have Old Bay, like 500 things of Old Bay here, and it goes on virtually everything we eat. But it's delicious. I think if you haven't tried it, Bandana Grandma, next time that you guys do that, you need to add Old Bay seasoning. Let me know what you think. I was introduced to Old Bay when we moved to Maryland almost 40 years ago. There you go. So you guys use it on everything too, right? Grammy Karen, we use it too. Have you guys always used it? Or have you guys just used it because we came and we brought you a big thing of it? Because you've been forced to use it because you have to get rid of it. I put it on air fryer taters last night. That's the way to do it. Absolutely. Yum. That's delicious. Yeah, we put them on french fries and stuff when we make them. Anything chicken, we use it for a long time. Okay. I can't remember if Zach said that he knew what it was or not. I don't remember. But we brought some when we went and visited them. And yeah, it was like you just put it on anything and it's delicious. You put it in soup, put it on chicken, like I said. Obviously anything seafood. It just belongs on. Here in Maryland, if you order like crabs, it comes with like an inch of Old Bay seasoning on top of every single crab. I actually have to like scrape it off. I know it's a sin, but I actually have to scrape it off a little bit because I can't eat all that. Now I want taters. Me too. All right, Grammy Karen, now you have to make taters for everyone since you mentioned it. We're hungry. Yeah, it's there's a ton of different spices that I've been introduced to, and Old Bay is just one of those that literally has stuck with me and goes everything. Love it. All right, well, it looks like we got like 5 more minutes. What else do you guys wanna talk about? What else do you wanna mention? Any other questions? What's everyone doing for the holidays? Anyone have any special plans? Is anybody done with, like, holiday prep? Got all of their presents wrapped? Literally I just started tonight. This is my first night. I have a ways to go still. I at least have my tree up. That I had done for a while. I have to plan the Christmas dinner. That's what I'm working on in my head. In upstate New York, we all use Bell's poultry seasoning for our turkey. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. And dressing. And I can't do Thanksgiving without it now. Not always easy to find here, kind of like you and Old Bay. Yeah, not me. Ways to go yet. Yeah, it's a task to look down for sure, but you have to enjoy it. Just like turn on Christmas music and fade away. I don't know what that is. Bell's poultry seasoning. I'll have to look and see if I can find that somewhere. We're going this weekend to cut down our tree. That's exciting. All decorating will happen once the tree is up. Most of our shopping is done. Woohoo, nice. That's exciting. That's a hard part. So it's nice to have that under the belt. We have a fake tree, but I actually did run the idea past Tyler about getting a real tree this year. Um, and then he kind of like ran me through the mess that they make in maybe next year. But I think it would be fun to go to like a Christmas tree farm and like cut down. Do you go to a farm or do you just like go out in the woods and find a tree? I saw Martha Stewart uses bells with her turkey too. Oh, if Martha does it, then it must be delicious. I'm excited. I'm gonna have to find that. I always love coming across new spices. Our local Dollar General has a delicious seasoning called Soul Food. It's amazing. I've heard of Soul Food. Um, Man, where did I hear of that? Someone else has mentioned that to me before and swears by it. I have to look for that too, I guess. I feel I know my Dollar General. I would say dollar store. I was gonna say I know my dollar store spices. I go through those regularly. I walk that aisle frequently. Dollar General though, I don't even know where the closest Dollar General would be to us. I don't think we have one too close. Um, but I'll have to check that one out too because I've heard great things. I just have never tried it. We just put our real tree up today. 7-foot beauty. Holy Toledo. Our son-in-law did heavy work for us, thank goodness. Still need to decorate, but need help getting our bins down from the attic. Yeah. Those bins can get heavy. I have a bin, very large bin, fully dedicated to ribbons and bows and tissue paper. And it's like this bin is huge, it's like this big. Like it's almost as long as me. And I had to lug that up the stairs today, and it was tragic. It was very hard. I felt very wimpy, but I did get it up the steps. We live close to a national forest, and we just purchased our permit to cut our tree. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. My daughter is the manager at Homestead Gardens in Severna Park, and we got a deal on a tree there. Still expensive though. Yeah, I also, like I said, I've never bought a real tree. I also have no idea what the prices of those run, but I would imagine that they're not cheap. Um, but it would just I like, do you get the whole smell? Like, does it smell up your house? Because that would be my biggest reason for it. I'm a big smells person. As we started out this conversation tonight, I'm leaning towards not using artificial smells. So I would really love to have access to a tree that just makes my whole house smell good. We have 3 girls under 9, and it'll be their first time picking and cutting a tree. That's exciting. It should be interesting. I'm sure it'll be interesting, but that's gotta be something that they'll remember forever, you know? That is super exciting. I think it's fun that people make a big, like, deal about it. The whole family gets together and they all, like, walk out into the woods and, like, pick. Um, I think that's really cool. But I would imagine it's not easy like, carrying them back. Like, do you get a wagon or something, or are you responsible for transporting it to your vehicle? Make your own potpourri. Yes, so I have dabbled in that a little bit with, like, essential oils and dried flowers. However, I've recently started doing simmer pots, which I really love. So just, like, cut up an orange, throw in some cinnamon, cloves, and set it on simmer on the stove, and it just fills the whole house, and it smells so good, and it doesn't give you headaches. They have people there who tie it to your car. Oh, that's good. That's good. I would need help. Like, I'm very much, like, an avid do-it-yourself kind of person, but when it comes to tying a tree to the car, I just don't know that I would trust uh, my abilities. Lowe's Home Depot has left over tree trimmings for crafts. That's cool. Okay, interesting. That's neat. I, did make a couple, like, little I don't know how well you can see this. This is a work in progress, but I trimmed just from our pines that are out front of our house and put it in a little sponge, so I'm gonna put some decorations in there. I do try to make some stuff. This doesn't really have a smell to it, though. I do try to bring in, like, a little bit of nature inside because it gets I miss my plants, so I do try to bring in nature. I mean, I have literally plenty of plants. Like, you can see this monster right here. I have plenty of plants in the house, but I do also like to bring in a little bit of nature here and there throughout the winter. They also put it through a net bagger thingy, so it's cone shape and held tight. Okay, until you cut it off. Yeah, I've seen that in, like, movies, so that's easier to maneuver, right? Sadly, when the pine smell gets nice and strong is when the tree is on its way out. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's a bummer. I am the queen of free, LOL, but it can make your house smell good instead of letting them get thrown away. So they don't charge you for them? Like, they just let you take them? Is it like one of those Outback deals? Or, like, you just walk in and ask, or how's that go? I'm curious. Enlighten me. We'll have to do a vlog if you go to a tree farm. Yeah, absolutely. That would be so fun. How fun would that be? After fall, they give away pumpkins for free for chickens. I don't know this. Why don't I know this? This is good information. Thank you. Our chickens got one pumpkin this year, which was the one that I used to make pumpkin pie. The other two pumpkins got set out front. They were supposed to be carved for Halloween, but we never got around to carving them. And now they're just smushed mush. So our chickens didn't get those. They went in the compost pile instead. That's cool though. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for sharing. All right, guys. I really appreciate y'all jumping on. I always have so much fun doing this, but I need to go and make myself something to eat for dinner. I'm starving. They may have a pile or just ask. Go find the guy who cuts the trees. New co and purchase. Excuse me, can I please speak to the tree cutting guy? I need some of that. I need some of that free trimmings. Excuse me, tree trimming guy. Hook me up. I'll do that. I'm going to. And then I'll show you guys what I come back with. I always like the concept of, like, people that make their own wreaths. It's always so pretty. I get the perks from my daughter being a manager. I bet. That's gotta be nice to get the hookup. Have a good night. Good night, Grammy Karen. Love you. Thanks for jumping on. We're having apple pie and ice cream tonight. Yum! Enjoy your apple pie and ice cream. Free seeds sometimes. Oh, we need to talk, Bandana Grandma. Just ask who's working. The landscape department. Okay, that probably sounds more official than the tree trimming guy. Excuse me. I'm gonna just ask for the tree trimming guy anyways, just to see if they take me seriously. It'll be funny. Looking for some scraps. I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be awesome. I want to make a wreath. That's my goal. Hopefully we get that done. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. I really appreciate it. I had fun with y'all tonight. Hopefully I'm gonna keep doing this. I think I'm sticking to Tuesdays. So I always post on our Facebook page and on the community page on YouTube. If you're not following us on Facebook, make sure you go find us there. You can find us by typing in the @Visit Granted Gardens on Facebook, and you can find us there. Thank you guys so much. Love y'all. Have a good night. Good night to you and your pup. She's already in bed. She left and went to sleep. Good night. Bye.